The following is a live special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Juckett. Happy New Year! We've made it to 2026. And what better way to start the year than our second annual Dog Bowl of the two worst teams of the season that we're about to play. Last year, we did the Kansas City A's and the Chicago Cubs, where we did 1956, thinking that there probably isn't going to be too many times that those two teams were going to be on the channel in that particular year. And so at least they get a internationally simmed or streamed game. So in 1986, the two worst teams were the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Seattle Mariners. Again, better than chances than most you might see them again at some point over the next 8 months or so, especially because the American League West doesn't promise to be the same old crap show that it always is. Get to 85 wins and the division's probably yours, and who knows who the Mets are going to clinch against once we get to there. So these two teams get to face off in our test stream. This is a fully patched game of Action PC Baseball 2026. And so you get the Pirates and the Mariners with a DH from the Kingdom. I did the stadium up this morning. And so that's a setup for you for that. So you just never know. And so Happy New Year, John. And man, Happy New Year to you as well. And it is hard to believe that 1986 was 40 years ago. I was 14. Yeah, this season's going to be a lot. If you're quite ready, let's do this. It's time for baseball. Season 8? Are you kidding me? This is the 8th year that we've done this? I can't believe it. But here we are. It's the 5th year in that 77-93 wheelhouse. Let's do this, shall we? It's the Pirates and the Mariners from the Kingdom right now. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay, a preseason game between the Seattle Mariners and the Pittsburgh Pirates from the Kingdom in Seattle. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalAdice.com, the best darn podcast on the web. For your sports simulation and replay needs, find Dave, Vinny, and Joe Cards on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So here you go. How you doing, Greg? Preseason? Are you kidding me? Preseason? Yes. Oh, Ben Witz. Okay. And Happy New Year, AP. So here's a lineup. Excuse me as I sneeze for Pittsburgh. I did this lineup. It'll be Johnny Ray leading off for the Pirates at second. Tony Pena behind the plate, batting second. Jim Morrison, Riders of the Storm, at third, batting third. Sid Bream, who would break some hearts in Pittsburgh in a few years, cleans up at first. The rookie, Barry Bonds, in center, will bat fifth. Mike Diaz in left will go sixth. Excuse me. R.J. Reynolds, again, no picture. The DH will bat seventh. We're in the American League Park. Rafael Belliard at short bats eighth, and Joe Orsulak will go ninth in right. Mike Moore can give you 125 pitches. Defensively for Seattle, Phil Bradley a 5 and a 6 in left. Dave Henderson a 5 and an 8 in center. Remember, this is before all the trades, so there's a couple people that will play a part for Boston season that you're seeing on Seattle today. Danny Tarnable a 5 and a 7 in right. Jim Presley's all shook up. He's a 6 at third. Spike Owen an 8 and a 10 at short. Harold Reynolds a 9 and a 10 at second. And Ken Phelps a 4 at first. There's an episode of Seinfeld, I'm sure about that. Bob Kearney gets to the call behind the plate. He's an 8 and a 7. And Mike Moore is his 8 on the mound with a 9.33 fielding percentage. Glad you're doing well, and thank you. Nope, this doesn't look like Arizona spring training. In fact, These two teams would never have met at spring training because the Pirates were in Bradenton and the Mariners would have been in Arizona. Andy, how are you? Happy New Year. Yeah, I got to go through with RJ. Again, not sure how many times the Pirates are going to be on. So last year with those stovepipe hats, too. So the Pirates lose 98 and 86. The Mariners lose 95. And we're all set to go. I'm trying to play with the sizes of all these boxes. The outcome box is back, however. Figured that one out. So if we're ready, here we go. Mike Moore starts the replay with a ground ball to Reynolds over to Phelps. 1 out. It's not Chicago and Los Angeles. I have the replay stats is what you're going to see in those boxes. Up left. Yep, the Kingdom. And I was trying to find one without ads. I think this one actually looks pretty nice. Tony Pena. Oh, I forgot to give you numbers. How bad of me to do. Mike Moore. In 86, 37 starts, 11 and 13, a 4.30 earned run average, 266 hits, 266 innings, 279 hits, 141 runs, 127 earned, 28 homers. He walked 94 and struck out 146. Throws a fastball at 87. And is a ground ball pitcher. Tony Pena at 288. 10 homers and 52 RBI. There's a chopper over Presley into left field. Bradley will pick it up, and Pena is on. Pena is not necessarily a stealer of bases, but got on base a ton. Jim Morrison, 274, 23 homers and 88 RBI. Popped up center field. Hendu is there. And Henderson will make the catch. D. Scott Howard hanging out somewhere amongst the empty seats in the upper deck. So how do you like the scoreboard? This is the look I came up with. I did a little bit of this stuff last night. Everyone's got logos and unis. Sid Bream at 268, 16 homers and 77 RBI. And so the lineup things will be replay stats. And I changed the color. I was going to go with the green base on that scoreboard, but the numbers, once you get into that 1 to 9, are the same color as the background, and I thought black would be easier to read. I gave you Bream's numbers. That's popped up. Reynolds by the bag. Harold and I share a birthday, and that will be the inning. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Half an inning in the books. This goes 14. I'm eating a hat. Pittsburgh, nothing. Here come the Mariners. So here's Rick Rhoden. Rick, not only a better-than-scratch golfer, he went 15 and 12 for the Pirates in 86, a 2.84 ERA, 34 games started. He finished 12, 253 and 2/3, 211 hits, 82 runs, 78 earned, 17 home runs. He walked 76 and struck out 159. He is 33 years old, a fastball pitcher, a fly ball pitcher, and that fastball is 89. The lineup for the Mariners, Phil Bradley is in left. He'll lead off. Ken Phelps at first will bat second. Jim Presley at third will bat third. Danny Tartable cleans up in right. Alvin Davis is the DH. He'll bat fifth. Dave Henderson in center goes sixth. Spike Owen, Red Sox fans scouting these two, will bat seventh and play short. Bob Kearney behind the plate goes eighth, and Harold Reynolds gets that second leadoff spot, batting ninth. Rhoden can give you 130 pitches. Thank you. So now is the time to make suggestions on what should change and what shouldn't change. I mean, Dave has done such a great job with this. Defensively for the Pirates, Mike Diaz a 5 and a 4 in left. Barry Bonds a 7 and a 5 in center. Joe Orsulak a 7 and a 7 in right. Jim Morrison a 5 at third. Rafael Belliard a 7 and 7 at short. Poor old Johnny Ray is 7 and a 7 at second. That's a lot of Seagrams and 7s. Sid Bream is 7 at first. Tony Pena a 9 and only a 6 arm behind the plate. I'd have thought that'd be better, but then again, I was a kid. What do I know? And Rick Rhoden is an 8 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Rick should go golfing with Jim Rice. I'm sure there's another update coming. Andy, this is the one that he did on for Tuesday. This is Tuesday's update. And I have Mark Shaw always sends me the link. So this is from the 12:30 patch. And the game is off. Jim Rice, Yvonne Lendl, and Dan Quinn. Rice a good golfer? You know who was a great golfing trio is Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. Bradley at 310, by the way, 12 homers and 50 RBI. Yeah, Ben, the one thing you play seasons from your youth and the few players you discover were either better or worse than you thought they would be. Pena was always distinct because he would kind of sit on a leg. He didn't squat when he caught. Yeah, that's the latest. Pitch to Bradley. Struck him out. Rhoden gets the first out on a 1-2 inside. For Ken Phelps, 247, 24 homers, and 64 RBI. Mark Shaw, who I'm sure this ballpark is from, always sends me the links to the patches as they come through. So always make sure that we are up to date. Pitch to Phelps. There's a fly ball left field. Diaz over in the corner. He's tracking this one by the bullpens, and that is out of play. A ball and 2 strikes to Phelps. Doubleheader Monday. We start for real Monday from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. The Red Sox and the Tigers. Going to see if Dwight Evans can start the season with a home run just like he did in real life. Pitch to Phelps. Struck him out. That's 2 for Rhoden. Goodness gracious. A 1-2. He chased it. 2 out for Jim Presley at 265, 27 homers, and 107 RBI. We'll look to see what I picked for the second game. It's not Philly and Cincinnati. So week 1, we'll do a doubleheader Monday, and we'll do a split day doubleheader for the second game of the second day of the season, and I believe we get the Cardinals and the Royals. We'll look when we're done. Pitch to Presley is a fly ball left field. Diaz coming in, and he will make the catch, and that'll do. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Mariners go in order. We go to the second, no score. Happy New Year, Curtis. How are you? Yeah, Mark's just great. Rice, Jim Ed played in a tournament in Toronto and could hit the ball comfortably over 300. He could also putt. Rice was an accomplished high school quarterback, too. In Florence, South Carolina? He's my idol. Joseph Rosenthal, I like control of the pitch-by-pitch mode, and I find it hard to believe pitch outs and such will work right without it. But I assume I'm in the minority. As the defense, I'm the one that calls pickoffs and pitch outs. And it just adds a ball or a strike to the count. Barry Bonds, a rookie at 223, 16 homers, 48 RBI. I wonder whatever happened to him. Fly ball to right. Tartable going back. And Danny will make the grab, 1 out. For Mike Diaz. Diaz at 268, 12 homers, 36 RBI. Slow chopper to third. Presley's got it over to Phelps, and Diaz will reach because Presley threw it away. That's not good. Diaz on first for R.J. Reynolds at 269, 9 homers, and 48 RBI. So that's an error. Again, at least with the Mariners, they look a lot different to start the year than they would to finish it. Pitch is a slow chopper in the hole right side. Tartable's got it. I lost everybody. Where did everybody go? Where did everybody go? Says I got 4. So that's a single. Here's Belliard. Raphael at 233. No homers and 31 RBI. I remind you, it's not intentional for sure, but he was my idol. And we are talking out, as if you didn't catch the open, I was 14 for the season. And so Saturday afternoons with Vin and Joe, absolutely. Monday at 11:30 Eastern, Red Sox and Tigers from Detroit, the first game of the 86 season. Then it won't be Roger Clemens, it's Bruce Hurst. If you are new to these replays, we do them, obviously not for this, as played. So whoever started on that particular day is going to be who you're going to see. Pitch to Belliard, snap throw down to first, and they got Reynolds diving the wrong way. So Bob Kearney threw him out. And Joseph, you can see there's a 1-ball count now and 2 out. More deals. That is up the middle. Owen has it behind the bag over to first, and that will do. We've played an inning and a half. Pirates get a hit and an error by Seattle, and it's no score. So Tartable, Davis, and Henderson. R.J. Reynolds caught light in the smoke. I like that one. Good job. Yeah, that's awesome. Tartable, 270, 25 homers, 96 RBI, and 18,000 strikeouts. Enzo the Picker. I managed the game from there. Yes, except for the Red Sox, I managed the home team. So in this case, I'm managing the Mariners. Obviously not as played. They didn't play Pittsburgh, even in the spring training. It appears that I was born in 1972. You are off. Hold on, I got to yell at my cat. November 71. Pitch to Tartable. Fly ball left field. Back goes Diaz. That is well hit and caught on the track. 1 out. Late 71. Yep. I'm a Thanksgiving baby. Alvin Davis at 271. 18 homers and 72 RBI. So when they do those, if you take 99 beers and subtract 40 and add 50, I can tell what year you were born. No, you can't, because it's always going to be 72. Pitch to Davis. Struck him out. 3 for Roden. He chased an 0-2 off-speed pitch. I'm still a kid. I feel like a kid. Here's Dave Henderson. Imagine, if you will, you're with the Mariners to start the year in 86. You know you're going nowhere. And so you're this late March, early April, or whatever. You'd have no idea, but by the time that October rolls around, that you are going to be legendary, absolutely legendary figure someplace else. With Seattle, they hit 276, 14 homers, and 44 RBI. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Pitch to Henderson. There's a fly ball to the left. Back goes Diaz, and he'll turn and watch it go. That's new. I haven't seen the home run graphic yet. So hen did. And it's 1-0 Seattle. So here's our first replay with the new game. In fact, he put that out there about where he did in California come October. Ha ha! Yeah, Red Sox scouts at the game. 0-246. No homers with Seattle. And 35 RBI. Here's a ground ball to Ray. Over to Bream, and Owen is retired, and that will do. Seattle, a run and a hit, no errors. They haven't left anybody on. We go the third in our preseason special. Preseason? We're talking preseason. Not even Allen Iverson practices for that. 1-0 Seattle. So Orsulak, Ray, and Pena to face Mike Moore. Joe at 249, 2 homers, 19 RBI. That is up the middle. Reynolds has it over to Phelps, and Orsulak is retired, 1 away. Opening 9 for Moore, and this version of the game does it a bit different. There's no line there for the game. You get the replay or the reel and the computer, and then beneath it, 2 1/3 and 2 hits. That's it for Moore. The outcome box hasn't changed except for the font. Johnny Ray, 0 for 1. That is a base hit, right center field. Henderson cuts it off, and third hit for the Pirates. Tony Pena singled his first time up. The splits are there on the right-hand part of that box, and Moore has faced 9 batters on 35 pitches. So that's new. It looks good. I like the design here. Trying to think of what else I may need to add or subtract. That is in the left field for a base hit. Bradley will throw it to Owen, and it's first and second for Pittsburgh, and 1 out for Morrison, who's 0 for 1. Anyone know if Action PC implements some kind of home field advantage behind the scenes? I doubt it. I mean, that's one of those things that has been argued for years. And statistically speaking, the home team wins 53% of the time. There's inherent home field advantage because you get the last outs. And the second one, you have the human manager and not the computer. But I don't think they implement anything for that. Johnny Ray is a good example of a fine player with no place to go after second base, so relatively short career. Yep, absolutely. Had some decent years with the Angels. There is a small home field advantage? Okay. And that is the Pirate logo, Curtis, that I grew up with. You were a Pirate fan as a kid, and as a little kid, what boy didn't like Pirates? The one from 1960 looks like it came off a box of cereal. Pitch to Morrison. There's a ground ball to Owen. Spike can't make the play. Second error of the ball game. So the bases are loaded. 1 out for Bream, who's 0 for 1. Yeah, the it's not as pronounced as it is in other sports for sure. It's there. Pitch to Bream. Fly ball left field. Back goes Bradley. He will turn and watch it go. A grand slam. In fact, since we're in Seattle, get out the rye bread and the salami and the mustard. Sid Bream has hit a grand slam, and it's 4-1 Pittsburgh. I'm not sure Dave Niehaus is hungry after that one. My goodness, that was crushed. Into those seats in left field. Craig always fought an uphill battle cheering for the Indians in those Cowboys-Indians movies. That's a good one. Bream of the crop. Barry Bonds 0 for 1. Moore. That's in the left center. Henderson retreating over, and Dave will make the catch. And there's 2 out for Mike Diaz, who's 0 for 1. Someone suggested this would be a 12-11 game. I doubt it. Ground ball past Owen in the left field. Bradley will pick it up. R.J. Reynolds singled his first time up. Speaking of Scully, there's one of the channels I follow on YouTube uploaded Game 5 of the 85 National League Championship Series, which I'd forgotten there was a rain delay at the start, so they're interviewing poor Vince Coleman, who had his leg crushed by the tarp machine the night before, or was supposed to be the night before, and the infamous graphic of Ozzie Smith, who had never hit a home run left-handed in 2,500 at-bats, and I thought it was the next pitch. It was 2 pitches later. Off a poor Tom Niedenfuer. Pitch to Reynolds. There's a ground ball to first. Phelps takes it to the bag himself, and that will do. However, the grand slam by Sid Bream, 4 runs, 4 hits, and an error, and we go to the bottom of the third here in Seattle. Pittsburgh 4, Seattle 1. Big Dave, how are you? Who do I cheer for if it ends up being an Indians-Braves World Series? Good luck with that. And it is a big, big, dark park, the Kingdome. Oh, I know who Greg would root for that. Home team had the option to bat first or last in the mid-1890s. And you always want the last outs. Bob Kearney at 240, 6 homers and 25 RBI. Line drive to Belliard, 1 out. For Reynolds at 222, a home run and 24 RBI. Dave Justice. You root for Walker, Texas Rangers, who you root for. I didn't mind needing fewer, Greg, but you're a Cardinal fan. And I think Jack Buck's call of Ozzy's home run is better than the one of Gibby's home run in the 88 series. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. Pitch to Reynolds into right center. Bonds moving over, and Barry will make the catch, 2 out. For Phil Bradley, who's 0 for 1. Roden opening 9, 23 pitches, 2 2/3. A run it was earned. He's allowed to hit the home run to Henderson and struck out 3. It doesn't surprise me that 99% went last. No, there will not be a Braves-Indians, sorry, John, World Series in 86. I'm all right with Joe. Jack was great, too. Happy New Year, David. How are you? Pitch to Bradley is a fly ball hooking foul left side and out of play. 2-2 the count. So hopefully we have most of the kinks worked out in this 2026 version. Struck him out, 4 for Roden. Here's Belliard as we're done with the third inning. Mariners go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, Pittsburgh 4, Seattle 1. So Belliard, Orsulak, and Ray to face Moore here in the 4th. That is a hard shot to Owen over to Phelps. 1 out. Yeah, I think Joe likes football more than baseball. And I would say Jack was better at baseball than football. Although he and Hank Stram were a pretty good team on CBS. Joe Orsulak 0 for 1. Up the middle, Owen has it over to Phelps for the It felt weird, by the way, last night as I was doing this to set schedules and all that. We haven't had to do that in a while. We were done early. When we finished in September or October. There's only 1 round of playoffs. So I haven't had to set a schedule in a while. As we get ready to go, 86 doubleheader Monday, 11:30 Eastern. Johnny Ray, 1 for 2, has singled. Moore, 18 batters, 60 pitches, 3 2/3, 4 runs, 3 earned, 6 hits, and the massive grand slam to Sid Bream. Ray, because I didn't give you his numbers to start the game, 301, 7 homers, and 78 RBI. Thank you, Everhat. I believe this is part of Mark Shaw's tremendous collection of ballpark pictures. Yet Kirk Gowdy was, I think, underrated at baseball and very good at football. Jim Simpson, reportedly, Greg, did not like baseball. Pitch to Ray. That is up the middle for a base hit. That'll drop in front of Henderson. Neither did Keith Jackson, who I thought was an underrated baseball announcer. They both preferred football. And Charlie Jones, unless you lived out in Colorado in the mid-90s, you would have known did baseball. He was a fill-in for a while on NBC and was the Rockies announcer their first year. Tony Pena, by the way, has singled twice and scored once. Yeah, I thought Keith was very good with baseball. You can't change the font. I can make it larger. I'm not sure what that font is. Old computer is what it looks like. We've gone from a bold Arial to whatever this is. Pitch to Pena. Chops it foul, third base side, and somebody from Bellingham made that play. 0-2 the count, 2 out. Keith could do it all. And the manual entry is great. Absolutely. I'm loving that. Problem is, ground ball to Reynolds. That's not a problem. Over to Phelps for the out, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 3.5, it's the Pirates 4, the Mariners 1. Problem is, now that I've got a manual entry project going on, I'm not sure what to do with the pictures. Because I'm doing 78. I'll think about that. All right, here's how 86 played out in real life. Let's start in the American League. Again, you win 85, chances are you're going to be in contention. California by 5 over Texas, and then no one else even close. Kansas City spent most of the year with Dick Hauser's health deteriorating before he was had to resign. He eventually died of brain cancer. Oakland, the White Sox, Minnesota, and these Mariners. In the East, boy, it didn't feel like the Red Sox won that by 5.5. I was surprised when I saw it. And I think Toronto is a pretty good team. So is Detroit. You could pretty much go 5 deep here if the Red Sox struggle. Baltimore, I don't think, has a chance to win. And it would take a lot for Milwaukee to win. But the Red Sox won 95 and 86. National League East, the Mets won it by 21.5. And if it's not the Mets come our playoffs, so I'd be stunned. There ain't anybody, only the only team to finish above 500 besides the Mets were the Phillies. And in the West, Houston by 5 over Cincinnati. I think San Francisco collapsed down the stretch. And so those are the standings. That's what happened in real life. Mind you, this is our 5th quote-unquote wheelhouse season. Ken Phelps, by the way, 0 for 1. And in the previous 4, we've not had a real World Series winner. And of the 8 teams that could be in the World Series, only 2 were there. The 78 Dodgers and the 85 Cardinals. And they both won. Pitch to Phelps. Fly ball, right field. Back goes Orsolak. And Joe will make the catch for the out. Presley's 0 for 1. Pena threw out 45% of the runners. Yeah, I mean, he was great. When the Red Sox got him in, 90? I was excited. 87 was that fantastic AL East race between Detroit and Toronto. It was. At some point, we'll do that. We've done 85, we've done 88, and we're about to embark on 86. Jim Presley is 0 for 1. Fly ball, left center. Bonds moves over, makes the catch, and there's 2 out. For Danny Tartable, who's 0 for 1. Popped up. Pena, not going to get that one, and the count is 0-2. Yeah, Presley was pretty clutch with those RBIs. These 2 teams were not horrifically bad. Obviously, with Roden pitching with a 2.84 real-life ERA, Pirates are going to win some. The back end of their rotations, though, were bad. Pitch to Tartable. Struck him out. That's 5 for Roden, and we're through 4. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 4, Pittsburgh 4, Seattle 1. Nope, they're not the 24 White Sox or the 25 Rockies. Yeah, the Mariners pitching. I mean, Moore was their best pitcher, and look at his ERA, 4.30. I gotta take a drink. So Morrison, Bream, and Bonds to face Moore here in the 5th. Jim 1 for 2 with a single. Ground ball to third. Presley's got it over to Phelps. And Morrison beat it out on a bang-banger. 8th hit for the Pirates. Here's Bream. Sid had that grand slam his last time up. You sure I've answered this at some point, but what criteria do I use to determine what game I will coach during a replay? That's a good question. And it pretty much has stayed the same over the first 7 years of our not MLB contract. Pitch to Bream is a fly ball left center. Henderson moving back there, and Dave will make the grab. Morrison goes back to first. In the first month of the season, I try to go with a mix of teams that made the playoffs in real life or made the playoffs or World Series the year before in real life to try to match what the networks would have shown. And so by May 1st, we try to go with whatever the better stories are going in. I believe a few years ago, we did 49. The Washington Senators are Nationals. Bonds, by the way, 0 for 2. Got off to a hot start, so we started adding. But generally speaking, by the time we get to the second half, we start focusing on whatever the close races are and go on those because that's what people seem to want to see. But generally speaking, hold on, I got it here. We do a Wednesday game, and that can be either day or night. We do a Friday night game, or we do a Friday game, and then we would do the old game of the week. So we take a day game on a Saturday. And so starting in 2 weeks, that's what you'll get. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And all things are subject to change, of course. Hopefully that answers your question. Which is, incidentally, KB played those 2 last night as one of his 3 New Year's Eve games. Oh, Kurt Berglund. White Sox or Rockies? That's a strikeout. Bonds goes down. That's the first for Moore. At 0-2 and 88, 2 out for Mike Diaz, 0 for 2 with a single, or 1 for 2 with a single. We also do holiday doubleheaders, although they won't be near the holidays. So we always do a Memorial Day doubleheader, a 4th of July doubleheader, and a Labor Day doubleheader. So overall, I think by the time all is said and done, we generally do between 90 and 120 games a year. Excuse me. Pitch to Diaz is ball 4. So Moore, kind of losing the script here. So after a while, we just tend to focus on the better races, the better teams, which is why we're doing Pittsburgh and Seattle to start, because especially once you get into the 26, 28, 30 team MLB, not every team is going to make it. Reynolds, by the way, 0 for 2, is picked off at first, by the way, with a single. Happy New Year. Yep, game of the week. And clearly some of them that we'll end up doing are much more Bob and Tony games than Vin and Joe games. David Little, how are you? Pitch to Reynolds. There's a slow bounder to Moore over to Phelps. And for the first time in 2026, it is 13 degrees and cold in Burlington. We'll be back right after this. Well, if you joined us late, hopefully you don't need the Pepto or the Goodies headache powder. This is our preseason game featuring the worst records in both leagues. The Pirates 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Mariners 1 run, 1 hit, and 2 errors. They got their run in the second. Dave Henderson, a solo homer to left center. Does that sound familiar in 86? Makes it 1-0 Seattle. And in the third, Sid Bream with a grand slam to make it 4-1 Pirates. Rick Rhoden can't wait for his tee time. The only hit he's allowed was the home run to Henderson in the second. He has struck out 5. For Mike Moore, 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. The grand slam to Bream, a walk, and a strikeout. And Moore has thrown 85 pitches. Rhoden has only thrown 36 pitches through 4 innings. Alvin Davis is 0 for 1. Fly ball opposite way to Diaz. 1 out. So Data Dill, by the way, if you weren't with us yesterday, had some very nice things to say about the stream we did. Dave Henderson, by the way, homered his first time up. He is 1 for 1. And when Alpha 4 comes out, we will show that off again. Pitch to Henderson. Struck him out. 6 for Rhoden. He's thrown a gem. For Spike Owen, who's 0 for 1. That is a high ground ball to Bream. Sid takes it to the bag, and that will do. We're through 5. Mariners go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. Pittsburgh 4. Seattle 1. So Belliard, Orsulak, and Ray to face Moore here in the 6th. Also, you should know if you're new that we don't treat these like we're playing them in 1986 as far as the quality of the broadcast is concerned. I mean, yes, it'll be whatever the date is. Excuse me, as I drink my ginger ale on the calendar. But this isn't necessarily a nostalgia show. It is, they're playing the game. These two teams are playing on New Year's Day 2026. And we talk about things that are going on right now. Belliard is 0 for 2. Fly ball to right. Tartable will make the catch. Will not make the catch. He drops it. Does he get it? He made the grab. Tartable ended up playing hot potato with it and hit it just above his ankles to make the great play. 1 out for Orsulak, who's 0 for 2. Drops one down. Presley picks it up, and Orsulak's going to grab the bag on the bunt single. Presley, that one just took a funny hop off the AstroTurf. And Orsulak will reach 9th hit for the Pirates. Johnny Ray, 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored. Moore, 27 batters, 5 1/3, 4 runs, 3 earned, 9 hits. The home run, the grand slam to Bream, a walk, and a strikeout. So now, speaking of what I just mentioned in that play, do I have IR enabled? Injuries? Same game injuries, because it's all as played. So if they missed it in real life, they're not playing in this. Unless they weren't put on the DL and they can pinch hit. They certainly aren't going to start. Instant replay. No. Nope. I can, but it would have been controversial. They didn't even like in football then. Tartable could mash, but a fly ball his way was always an adventure. Yeah, no video review. They didn't have... I remember... Was it 86 the last year they did it in the NFL? And it was just clunky. And Ray draws the walk. We did something I did. Oh, we did the quote-unquote Real World Series in the last one. Pena, by the way, 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored once. And I forgot about replay in the game, and it popped up on the screen because we were doing the 2025 playoff teams, and it really caught me off guard. Yeah, the current system of putting the ref under the hood and all that. If I was to do, let's say, like a single team replay using Action PC, I might think about it because you can challenge the calls. But for here, whatever the rules were, it is what we go with on that particular year. The reason why we're playing this game in Seattle is I didn't want the pitchers to hit. Up the middle, Reynolds to Owen for 1 to Phelps for 2. How about that? What a great grab by Reynolds on the run. Underhands it to Owen for 1 and over to Phelps to turn 2. And that'll do. After 5.5, no runs, a hit, and no errors. It's the Pirates 4, the Mariners 1. Oregon leads Texas Tech 3-0 in the first quarter. Both quarterbacks start taking it. Meaning, which bowl game is that? Yeah, Reynolds, if he'd been a little more defensive in other areas of his life. Great defender. Mediocre with the bat. Kearney, Reynolds, and Bradley to face Roden here in the 6th. Bob is 0 for 1. Happy New Year, Larry. Glad you came in there. Oh, the Orange Bowl. How weird is it the Orange Bowl's being played during the day? 3 BCS games today. Dave Little will pay me not to talk about the one last night. Pitch to Kearney. There's a ground ball to Belliard. He throws over to Bream, and Kearney is retired. Reynolds 0 for 1. Triple G or Double G, they should have had a replay when Phil Luckett blew the coin toss. Yes. Bowl traditions are gone. Yeah, I agree. Get rid of them. Do 3 polls at the end of the year. Cumulative top 8, 12, 16 plays. Play a playoff and be done with it. So people have suggested, and I like the idea, of doing the bowls as week 1 of the new season. I kind of like that idea. That's a base hit, right center field. Orsolak will pick it up. Reynolds proves me wrong. Announcers jinx. Same thing in 26 as it was when we started this in 18. Phil Bradley is 0 for 2. 18 batters for Roden. 56 pitches, 5 1/3. The 1 run, the homer by Henderson. Just 2 hits. That was only the second hit. And 6 strikeouts. Dave's blood pressure can only take so much. And you guys are really good. Now that you are counting down the days, is part of your retirement plans, doctor, to do some time in Columbus to go to some of those? Phil was rewarded the next year with a chop of a line judge. The Astro Bluebonnet Bowl was always one of the first bowls, yeah. I mean, the thing is, the novelty of playing a bowl game at Fenway and a bowl game at Yankee Stadium is kind of worn off. Yankee Stadium used to have some pretty serious football games there. And it'd be cool, again, do a regular season game there. Army Notre Dame, absolutely. We're going to go. Reynolds goes the throw down to Ray, and they throw him out. So Tony Pena, with that cannon of an arm, throws out Harold Reynolds, who had a 66% chance to steal the base. There is no spectacle like an OSU football game, but your Shire is the MLB Park experience. Are you closer to? You're closer to Cincinnati than Cleveland, right? The 1-0 to Bradley. There's a fly ball to left. Diaz will not make it. That's off the wall, and Bradley's in the second with a double. So the third hit off of Roden. Ken Phelps is 0 for 2. And Phelps draws the walk. So Roden, trying to shake off 40 years of rust, has lost the script a bit here in the 6th. Here's Presley, who's 0 for 2. Popped up. Pena to the screen. Nope. Hit the screen. 1 and 2 the count. Mizzy Lou production. Those things. The Astro Bluebonnet Bowl. Usually I'd find the games on TV at 7, 8 years old. My mother would roll her eyes. You're going to be watching football all day tomorrow. I'm not watching football tonight. Find something else to watch. Does that sound familiar? Larry's a half hour west of Canton. Cincinnati is your team. It's a nice ballpark. Yes, it is. They've done a good job with it. Stay single like you? No, I'm talking about when I was 7, 8 years old. Not in my mid-50s. My wife and I, no. Pitch to Presley. Struck him out. Roden gets out of it. We're through 6. Seattle, no runs, 2 hits. Thrown out base runner and no errors. We go to 7th in our preseason special. Pirates 4, Mariners 1. So Morrison, Bream, and Bonds to face Moore. Somehow we've milked Mike through 6. No, I'm talking to my mom, not my wife. Actually, Sarah is making pork pie for New Year's dinner. Oh, so good. Struck him out. That's 2 for Moore. A 1-2 outside on the black. 1 out for Bream, who has the grand slam, and that came in the 3rd. And for those of you who don't know what pork pie is, essentially it's a mix of ground pork, ground beef, and ground veal with mashed potatoes mixed in with it to bind it, and some spices, and baked in a pie shell. It is a French dish. It's a holiday dish. And although neither one of us are that French, we both live in the northern half of Vermont, where there are a lot of French culture, especially French Quebec culture. And that is a seasonal dish, and so that's what we're doing. So good. Similar, the 2 umpires working the World Baseball Classic looking to get back in the majors where 2 blown calls cost Japan the title. It was the only time the U.S. has won, and neither were rehired. Yeah, we used to do it for Christmas dinner, Ben. Pitch to Bream is a ground ball to 3rd. Presley backhands it, throws to Phelps, and Bream is out on a bang-banger. 2 out for Bonds, who's 0 for 3. I think the English call them mince pies. And it's just a very good winter dish. We do it with gravy, but the traditional way is not. Greg, are you a, I'm not going to say it, pork pie eater? The French way of saying it is tortilla. Pitch to Bonds, ball 4. So Barry reaches, walked him on 4 pitches. Kearney says something to the umpire and didn't like it. So a 2 out here for Diaz. Let's see if there's anybody worth going to in that Seattle pen. For the first time in 2026, who can get a righty out? All right, so who we're looking at here? Mark Heusman will get the call. Mark, 28 years old. Guess he'll pitch for the Royals before the season's done, or at some point. 3-3 with Seattle, a 3.71 ERA, 36 games, 1 start, 80 innings, 80 hits, 39 runs, 33 earned, 18 homers. That's a lot. 19 walks, 59 strikeouts, fastball at 88, and a fly ball plus pitcher. No! Oh, wow. I just got yelled at. 94 Expos, Ben says, will probably be one of the biggest victims ever in MLB. Yep. Not a fan of it, Greg, huh? So Bonds on first. Diaz 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. 2 out, top the 7th, 4-1 Pirates. Runner goes. That's popped up into center field. Henderson makes the catch. Stretch time. 4-1 Pittsburgh. Tartable, Davis, and Henderson have faced Roden here in the 7th. Danny is 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the day. Left field. Diaz going back. That's well hit. But Diaz will make the catch. 1 out for Alvin Davis. Is 0 for 2 with a K. That's the same thing, Ben. And it doesn't get a copyright match, so we use it. Yep, the 85 Cardinals got denkingered. They made up for it. They won when we did that World Series. They beat the Jays. Alvin Davis is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Fly ball right center. Orsolak moving over. And there's 2 out for Hendu, who homered in the 2nd. So this year if you're familiar with what I've said about Wheelhouse, my baseball wheelhouse, 77 through 93, and a couple years into this, decided that I would only do one of those seasons every other year, because we do 1 season per year, and then the opposite year, so on the odd year, we go something outside of that. We've done 49, we've done 56, which is what we did in 25, and we've done 2001. And so I'm not sure what decade I'm going to do in 27. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Pitch to Henderson. Fly ball left field. Back goes Diaz, and that is in the upper deck. That is crushed. So it's the Pirates 4, Dave Henderson 2. Here it is again. Oh my goodness, he just crushed it. So 4-2. And here's Owen, who's 0 for 2. That would have been a home run in 26 out of 26 parks. 93 would be the end of that, so that would not be... 93 is on my list, but it probably wouldn't be till 28. Mariners in 2001 won 116 games and won my World Series. They got their vengeance. It's funny, we haven't even started 86 yet, and I'm thinking this morning, so what am I doing in 27? How about we play 86 first? Pitch to Owen. Ground ball left side base hit. Diaz will grab it. They beat Houston. And that's all up on the channel. I don't think I have a playlist for it. Bob Kearney 0 for 2. So 2 out. Tying run is Kearney. Baby steps indeed. I'll tell you what. What I'll probably do is pick a decade once we get closer. There's less than 8,750 hours. Don't start. Alexa, what is 24 times 365?
24 times 365 equals 8,760.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ron.
The tradition of setting off your smart speakers continues in 2026. Pena and Roden have a word. Rick deals. Struck him out. That's 8. Roden has been lights out. So Dave Henderson with a home run, 2 hits and no errors. And we go to the 8th in our preseason special. Pirates 4, Mariners 2. So Reynolds, Bradley, and Phelps to face... Nope, Ron, look over here. Reynolds, Belliard, and Orsolak to face Heusman here in the 8th. RJ 1 for 3. Singleton was picked off. Forward thinker. So, once we get a little further into the year, I'll give you a decade, which is how we did 56, and you guys can fill in the blanks. But 93 is a definite possibility for 28, but let's not get 2 years ahead of ourselves here. Pitch to Reynolds. Ground ball to the mound, over to Phelps, 1 out. So safe to say that I'm not going anywhere. Belliard is 0 for 3. Hard to believe, though. We've done this 8 years. Ground ball to Presley. Over to Phelps. 2 out. Forrest Lack 1 for 3. Joe's got a single. 2 out in the 8th. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Pirates. And they have left on 8. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Seattle, and they have left on 3. And you like how we've done the scoreboard? The small one there really is mini. Steve, how are you? Happy New Year. AI or Al will control all of our replays by then. 6-6 pickup sticks, yep. Here's a ground ball foul, third base side. Actually, let's line in the left, and someone from Tacoma made that catch. It's a ball on 2 strikes. I knew what you meant. Can you imagine, though, an AI of Al? Fly ball, left field. Bradley will make the grab, and we're through 7.5. Pirates go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 8, 4-2, Pittsburgh. So Reynolds, Bradley, and Phelps. We'll see when the computer goes to the pen. Harold is singled and was thrown out trying to steal second. He's 1 for 2. Up the middle, Roden over to Bream for the out. 1 away for Bradley, 1 for 3 with a double. Fly ball to right, Orsolak going back to the wall, but Joe will make the grab, 2 out. 28 batters deep for Roden, 91 pitches, 7 2/3. Both the runs are earned. 2 solo homers from 1 Dave Henderson, 5 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Steve Shack, I believe, is also, he's in Dayton, which is near where you are, Mr. Little, right? Ohio representing on this New Year's Day. Ken Phelps 0 for 2. Struck him out, 9 for Roden. We go to the 9th. Pirates 4, Mariners 2. So poor old Johnny Ray. I wonder if he's a fan of Dexy's Midnight Runners. Tony Pena and Jim Morrison to face Hoisman here in the 9th. Johnny 2 for 3. He has singled twice, walked, and scored. Dayton represent. You like the AI and Quantum Leap. Base hit, right center field. Henderson can't get there. Tartable, not a great fielder. That skipped off the wall, and Johnny's on to second with a double. Oh, you're in Madison, Wisconsin. I thought you were in Ohio. So have you and Mr. Cook had a beer together? Because I think, not that Wisconsin's a small state like Vermont, but you're right in Dave Cook's neck of the woods. Tony Pena is 2 for 4 today. He has singled twice and scored. And Ben is from Eau Claire, my favorite Gilbert Sullivan song. Eau Claire. Ground ball to short. Owen over to Phelps for the out. That's O'Sullivan run. Jim Morrison 1 for 4. He has singled, struck out, and scored. Popped up left side. Owen into foul territory. Spike has a long way to run, but he'll corral it, and there's 2 out for Sid Bream. Larry's brother lives in Fairborn, which is near Dayton. It's funny that you met Dave Cook in Connecticut last year. They're a couple hours apart, and he is a wonderful guy. He really is. We knew, and I got to write an article about this for Jamie Marshall. Last year, when I talked to him on the phone, he had said, yeah, we're going to do manual entry for all the games. And my jaw just dropped when he said that. Sid Bream had the grand slam, And that's the 4 runs the Pirates needed. That came in the third. And being a multi-purpose park, there's a lot of foul ground here. Fly ball left field. Bradley will make the grab, and that will do. We go to the bottom of the ninth. No runs, a hit. The Pirates have left on 9. And after 8.5, Mariners 2 to tie, 3 to win. So Roden might go the distance here. Presley, Tarnable, and Davis to face him. Jim is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Got him. That's 10 for Roden. How about that? 87-mile-an-hour fastball, and Presley swung right through it. Tarnable is 0 for 3. They actually played cricket out in Oakland this past year, Greg. They could lay out, when the Raiders were there, they could lay out that field in 2 different ways. There was the outfield layout, which I believe they used in preseason, and then they could lay it out with the traditional infield in one of the end zones. I don't think they did it after the Raiders moved back, but yeah, that's how big that park was. Pitch to Tarnable, fly ball left field. Diaz, and it's last chance saloon here in Seattle, as Alvin Davis is 0 for 3. Cricket there's a lot to cricket, for sure. So Roden going for the complete game. It's weird. Oakland doesn't have a sports team. You're right. Line shot to Belliard, and the Pirates win it. So no Gardner ball for that. 2 hours and 46 fake minutes. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Pittsburgh. They leave on 9. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Seattle, and they left on 3. Roden gets the win. He goes the distance. 9 innings, 5 hits. The 2 home runs to Henderson. A walk and 10 strikeouts. He's your digital dice MVP. Moore, 6 2/3, 9 hits. Gave up the grand slam to Bream. He walked 3 and struck out 2. Heusman, that's how I'm pronouncing it, 2 1/3 and a hit. So before you go, let's go through the first week. Monday, 11:30 Eastern Time. Oh, you get the Red Sox and the Tigers. That's the first game. Bruce Hurst and Jack Morris. And the nightcap will be Fernando Valenzuela versus Eric Schau. It'll be the Dodgers and the Padres. That's Monday at 11:30 right here on Retro Sports Network. Tuesday will be a split-day doubleheader, which means we're not doing a traditional doubleheader on Tuesday. Oh, I can do it on Tuesday, can't I? We might. Anyway, day 2 of the season, the poor Royals, they win the World Series, and they send it to Yankee Stadium to open it. So it'll be the Royals and the Yankees, and then the other game, again, a split-day doubleheader, will be the National League champion Cardinals against the Cubs, Sutcliffe and Tudor. So Monday, Red Sox, Tigers, Dodgers, Padres. Tuesday will be the Royals and the Yankees, and then Wednesday, because I have a meeting on Thursday, will be the Cardinals and the Cubs. And so those are all special games to start the season. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for there. And so we'll see you Monday at 11:30 to start this for real. Have yourself a wonderful New Year's, and we'll see you probably Monday at this point for the start of 86. Have a good day, everybody. So long.